Welcome to the bold analysis. The latitude that a sitting president have to convert personal opinions into law should be lifted, because that is what is wrapped under what is called executive order. I know most or many people in this country are convinced that President William Ruto seem to be abusing this latitude, or rather this constitutional provision known as executive order. Worldwide, presidents have executive order. But if you look at the way that is being abused in this country, you can think, the country need to think twice. And I think if there is going to be a constitutional provision, the president should not be given that space for executive order. I'm speaking about this due to the recent backlash of the ID vetting, lifting of the ID vetting that was announced by the president. Did the National Security Council profile the border threats before the president arrived at this decision? You will find out, and make sure you watch to the end. But before that, we are in this month of March. We are supporting this young girl here. Is called Josephine Wambua. Josephine Wambua is a single mother of 3 children. Now, coincidentally, or rather as fate would have its way, she delivered through operation cesarean. And after that, of course, the husband disappeared. The husband left when she was expectant of this kid she's carrying there, never to come back. Now, because of the hardships, now she has to work selling these watermelons, carrying this child Komgongo, braving the harsh condition, harsh weather in Nairobi. We reached out and we are supporting Josephine. She has rent arrears, school fees for the other child, and also it is also of need for her to get a business that at least she can do while seated somewhere, so that she can sell while taking care of the young child. Walking around with the child, and remember, she also underwent through that operation. She's really not feeling well, and I really want us in this month. Josephine is our project, so that we can support. Kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba. By the time we get to Tuesday, we'll be able to be of support to her. Kindly support, and thank you very much for those who've responded. Asanteni sana. A notice, we normally do it once in a month, and you can listen to her here.
Hiyo ilikuwa ni last year mwezi wa 4 date 29.
Sasa unaishi peke yako?
Naishi tu peke yangu na watoto wangu 3.
Tukienda zaidi tutapata hiyo. Sasa vile unaona na mtoto mimi ningetaka ufanye hata kama unafanya ile, lakini ile kitu inanigusa sana ni venye unatembea mtoto kwa jua. Ni hakuna venye unaweza hata kujua na mtoto. Mimi naona
sasa kiupande wangu nikitembea na huyu, ama nipate tu mahali tu kuna kivuli, nikae nifanye biashara yangu hapo na mtoto, kama tumekaa chini, hiyo itakuwa ni better.
Now, opinions are divided as to whether the president got it right to allow to lift the requirement of vetting, mandatory vetting, for those who are seeking citizenship through registration in the country, especially targeting the border countries. And in this podcast, I want us to take a minute and listen to George Natembea.
One day we are going to have an Al-Shabaab as the president's escort. Before they make any decisions, think That's why even Trump, as we talk now, is deporting people. There was a time when I think it was Uhuru who tried to put a barrier between Kenya and Somalia. What was the reason? Mimi siingilii mtu, nasema tu kweli as a responsible Kenya. This policy decision is the president is a disaster. I've got a particular issue with even the recent removal of vetting of people before they're given identity cards, especially in Northeastern, and I'm feeling the same is going to apply to all border counties. That thing's not properly thought out. There was a reason for that. Now, if you allow people just to walk in and get IDs without vetting, how will you tell a Somali from Somalia and a Somali born and bred in Wajir, Garissa, and Mandera, or even Trans Nzoia here? There's no difference. The clans are the same, the language is the same, religion is the same, the culture is the same. It took that vetting committee of elders to say, this Mulango, really, you are people from Somalia, you're not Kenyans. That has been removed, replaced with what? Do they know the kind of disaster that is creating? Because when you're going to have people coming here, getting IDs, they become Kenyans, they use the same to get passports, they travel out there, they go and cause mayhem. Yeah, they'll be regarded as Kenyans. Yeah. So the Kenyan, the country that is sending out people are going to cause a lot of trouble there. Because some people are just out to make mischief. The president was not very well advised. Of course, that vetting also has its own weaknesses, very major weaknesses. But what they didn't know is that the vetting process again was even more conducive to foreigners. Because they had money, they will come and bribe the committees and they'll get what? They'll get ideas. They even made it more difficult for Kenyans themselves to get ideas. But I believe there is a better way of ensuring the Kenyans get their IDs, yeah, without causing unnecessary delays, and also preventing foreigners from getting IDs. I can assure you, in another 5 or so years, we'll have enough foreigners here with Kenyan IDs registered as voters. They're going to be voted for as MCAs, as MPs, as governors, and that will be even possible to have a foreigner voted for as the president of this republic. Look at them who issue birth certificates. Those guys can just get birth certificates. Yeah. Then they'll get all these other documents. So that decision looks very populist. But it's a very wrong decision. And I want my words to be marked, because very soon you are going to see sheer hell. You're going to see sheer hell happening because of that simple decision. You go to a border with Uganda, we've got lawyers across Uganda. Korea, we've got Koreans in Kenya and in Tanzania. We have got the Pokots in Kenya, they're called Kamoshon in Uganda. We have got the Maasais, isn't it? Yeah, in Kenya and in Tanzania. Of course, I've got Somalis in Kenya and Somalis in even in Moyale. I've got communities.
Of course, I need to put a disclaimer. I am seeing a narrative in Twitter, and there is a narrative by our brothers and sisters from northeastern side that is the people come from that place are being profiled. Even this channel, I have several subscribers from the northeastern corridor. I think the order was not just affecting northeastern, it was affecting all the border entry points, border counties. That is Busia, Migori on the other side of Tanzania. Busia was affecting, I think that is Somalia, Ethiopia, and West Pokot, and even the counties that is bordering, the county that is bordering Ethiopia. So this has far-reaching effect, of course, far-reaching implication beyond that region. And so that narrative being constructed as targeting a specific region, I think, should not even be here. Now, there emerges a question, and there are things that Natembeya have spoken. At this point, I would want to ask Kenyans staying away, maybe abroad, is there any country that doesn't do mandatory vetting for those who want to get entry, or rather to gain citizenship in their countries? Is there any? For example, today, if you are to go and stay, you make your way to Malawi, and you want to register there, is it easy? Not even Malawi, even Uganda, is it that easy? There is no country in the world that doesn't do mandatory vetting. And especially, this is not targeting the locals here. This is targeting those who are crossing the border from the other side of the country. Now, it emerges that the president's decision was rushed and it cannot be traced in any cabinet deliberation. It was not presented in any cabinet deliberation or no consultation with the National Security Advisory Council chaired by the president, which is the top decision-making organ of the president on matters security. The president can make executive orders, and for me, without mincing my words, the observation that the president made was one way, that I want to bring more people in the country. I want to allow more people to have IDs so that they can register voters, and through that I can marshal my numbers. That is the only side, but that is the only thing that the president thought about. But of course, as if you listen to Natembeya, there are some far-reaching implications of this move that was not within the president's purview, and probably he did not make that consideration. So one thing is, the president can make an executive order, but in such a caliber needs a due diligence from the top decision-making organ of the president. And even within the military ranks, there is a disquiet, because it happened even at a time some Al-Shabaab fellows abducted chiefs from Mandera amidst president days, a day to president's visit in Mandera. Something that is not really working well, and even the military ranks and file are a bit uncomfortable with this move because it has some far-reaching implications on the profile of the country. Now, this pronouncement is facing hostility within the security ranks, and even political opponents are reading a hidden vote rigging scheme through border vote smuggling.
Natoka Budalangi. Na Budalangi is a border constituency. As Kenyans tukiwa shule tulikuwa tunafundishwa tukue patriotic to our country. But something is happening that is making us not to think we are patriotic to our country once we get powers. Kwa sababu juzi Mheshimiwa Rais alisema akiwa huko Northeastern ya kwamba vitambulisho zile border counties or border constituencies zisifanye vetting. We are making a very big mistake to our country. Hata Trump, America ndio developed country, lakini bado anachunga nchi yake isiwe infiltrated na foreigners. Kenya sisi tukiwa kwa border, watu watatoka nje watachukua vitambulisho zetu, watachukua passport zetu. Watoto wetu hawataenda ng'ambo kwa sababu foreigners wakora watatumia passport zetu. We will be blacklisted in the whole world. Our boys and girls will not go for further studies, will not go for employment outside, will not do anything. We are trading on very dangerous grounds. These people, we will employ them because they have IDs. Ukitangaza unataka polisi Budalangi, wote watatoka Uganda, watakuja, watachukua nafasi yetu na watakuwa State House. Hao watu watakuwa jeshi. Ni nini itawazuia kuharibu nchi yetu? Therefore, as a delegate wa ODM kutoka Western Province, which is a border county, which is a border region, tunataka kuambia Mheshimiwa Rais, tunajua anataka kura, lakini let's get genuine votes. Tusiallow Al-Shabaab waingie hapa Kenya, waanze kupenetrate, waende Amerika wafanye makosa. Alafu watasema wakipata hiyo kitambulisho Al-Shabaab ni ya Kenya, so Kenyans will be Al-Shabaab all over. You will be blacklisted, you will not go anywhere. It's something that you must stand up, whether you are in broad-based or you are not, and say no.
Now, the ID vetting is not, however, something new. The ID vetting is, however, packaged by the president, when you hear some MPs talking, they speak, when they defend it, they're defending it like, we funded President Ruto's campaign, so this has to happen. But I still believe that without being seen appearing to be selfish, we must all confront the question that Mwananchi is asking. And some people are raising this question, even though when likes of Natembeya speak, they will be perceived as people speaking out of anger, or people who are not generally supporting the president. But Kenya faced threats, border threats with Somalia, and we even had to dispatch our soldiers there. We are in the process of withdrawing our soldiers from Somalia, and this pronouncement seemed to be coming, but it is not providing an alternative way of filtering foreigners from that will want to take advantage. Many theories, many conspiracy theories have emerged on what exactly is happening. But then I would want to look at it. Northeastern residents are not the ones targeted. This is going to affect, if that order is there, that mandatory vetting, it's done across the border counties for those who are crossing over. But my own issue is this. The president has given it a laxity. You know, those who work there, watakuwa relaxed sana. Even the vigilance at the borders, you know, the borders will become very porous. The ID is one of the tools that is very difficult to get. If you are in Tanzania and you want to come to Kenya, want to use it. But ukiwa na ID utaingia. In fact, in East Africa, you need to move with ID. Remember, even Somalia is now part of East African community. And so, venye kuingia Tanzania na Uganda ni rahisi, ingia Somalia is also be that easy. And without an ID, you can easily cross. But then something that I want to confine ourselves to is the security profile of the security threats that this move poses to the country. I know very well that to the western side of the country, West Pokot, and the other side is Karamanjong. In this other northeastern side is also a pastoralist community. I've seen the pastoralist community voicing their support for it. But there is one thing that we also have to be cognizant of: guns vending. Guns vending is what has caused instability, or what has caused hostility amongst the pastoralist communities. And the banditry that has been going, people ask, who is supplying them with the guns? The question has been asked several times, that without serious border controls, we are going to witness a new surge of guns vending in the country. Now, guns vending is very dangerous because it is also one of the grounds that creates the criminal gangs. Look at what's happening in Haiti. But people say, if you read the history about Haiti, you'll understand that there is the guns they are using are smuggled from the US. Yes. Different scholars have written articles and newspapers have written articles about Haiti, and they say the guns used in Haiti come from the US and the neighboring countries. So the guns vending is one of the profile that we have to look at. Number two, we've made this decision. For the last 2 years, we've not done police recruitment. The few we have also donated some to Haiti. Now we have inadequate security personnel for scaling up border control measures. Without, even as we give latitude for people, making it easy for people to acquire the Kenyan citizenship, but at the border, we must have highly a very serious border control measures. Now, border control measures will also need reinforcement of the security. Do we have enough? Yes, we've removed that, and I listened to what Nani have said. But do we have an alternative to what we are doing? Number two, foreigners infiltrating the country will find themselves in our security system, and that can even cause compromise. And now that is where the military issue comes in. Today, you make it easy for people to acquire the ID, then the bad people, the illicit extremist groupings. First, there's way of sneaking one of them as a Kenyan citizen, because also in this country, so long as you have money, you can always get away with anything. And you find yourself one of ex-Al-Shabaab member as part of a security team. You know. Now, those are the things that are there. And I'm not saying even without the vetting, even with the vetting, then that can't happen. But we need to be a little bit more sensitive on it. Our borders are a bit not very porous. Now, porous. Number, the other issue is turning Kenya into a safe transit hideout for international criminals on the run. Oh, I was told this point by Professor Annette Gundo. Yes. I had to give you the accolades for this. He brought up this point to me. He told me, Kevin, this will also make it, because international criminals on the run always do what is called camouflaging. They get to the community, they can be able to get the ID, become a Kenyan citizen, then camouflage. Now, the more you make it easy, the whole thing is, it makes the system to be, very weak. In fact, not that vetting is not going to happen. This is it. Not that vetting is not going to happen. Vetting is going to happen, but it will be very weak, because President Alisha signed. People will have the latitude of taking money from foreigners and giving them IDs under the guise of no vetting. So we might have made a mistake. There's some things that even if you want to do, you rather do them without announcing. You can effect administrative changes, but shouting on top of the car, signing in public, oh, no vetting, mtaingia. No, we made a mistake.